Hi YouTube, I hope you're doing good. I'm having a pretty good day, not too bad. Whoa, it's been so hot here. I had the fan on all night long and I couldn't stand it. It was 80 degrees Fahrenheit here at about 9:30 this morning, so my air conditioner is on, so excuse the noise. Um, I just want to state I think somebody new has been watching me. Um, might be a new man. I don't know. There's a couple people and I don't know your names, but I just want you to know a little bit about my personality. Um, I am not out here besides now in my life. It was for different reasons to begin with, but never anything like I'm not out on the dating scene. I want to make friends that have God in their heart and know they do, or at least they're trying to. If you see where I'm coming from, I'm not trying to wear or do anything alluring to just show you who I am, and that's all I do. I'm open and honest with my heart like that, and I don't cover up my feelings or words for anybody. I pride myself on saying what's on my mind and not having to worry about it because, number one, if you see anything else in me besides what I show you, that's on you. So I just want you to know that for a fact. So now that we got that under the out of the way, you know. So anyway, I was talking to my oldest granddaughter, and she asked me how could somebody as sweet as me have a son that is so mean and cruel. And um, I told her I wonder that too. Well, I really don't. See, the thing is, with the abuse that my son went through, um, yeah, it's a miracle he's even alive, let alone struggling with a lot of psychotic behavior. And that kind of brings me to the topic too. And then I was telling her, see, because, being a teenager, she was asking me for advice on talking to her mom. And I told her, and now, see, this is something, I'm not an expert on this because I have a stepdaughter, but I've never had a daughter, and I've really never had a mother. So I had an adopted mother that shouldn't have adopted a girl anyway. She gets along with men better like that. She hates me, to put it bluntly, and so does my natural mother. She looks a lot like me, but this is a woman that's almost 80 years old and has the mindset of a horny adolescent, and displays that language around her great and grandchildren, and I can't deal with it. I can't be around it. And besides that, she lied about me in true narcissism style. I thought I was raised by a narcissist mother, and then I met my natural mother. But before my grandmother died, I also met my grandmother, and then I see where I get my temperament from. So, yeah, it skipped a generation. But that brings me to my topic. Um, how many children that were raised by narcissist mothers that spent most of their life, or at least most of your life or my life, laying down in their beds? How do these people get so flippin' tired? You know, I mean, okay, like in my case, that woman never had babies even come out of her body. What made her so tired? It's like, I don't get it, especially now. I mean, I didn't really understand it when I was a little kid, but I understand it even less now. Kind of that's a joke. I do understand it, but and yeah, it's a generational thing that's passed on by one poor behavior just bleeds into the other ones, and that's really how I raised myself up out of that stuff because I didn't want to be like what I saw, you know? So, just a moment. But I did tell my granddaughter that her and my daughter in law and the other children, my granddaughters, my daughter in law has been through so much. I just told my oldest one, just try and find some alone time to talk without getting upset and understand that mom's her mom gets scared too, and she has a right to be. They have to move because in all reality, this woman is in danger, and the kids have been brutalized too. So it's like, yeah, she's going through a lot, and they're in the process of moving. So, and school's gonna be starting, and school clothes, everything. It's a zoo. It's the way things are. But my daughter-in-law is a good, strong, loving, kind woman going through a lot. And in fact, the abuse that she suffered when she was younger allowed her to get involved with my son and not recognize the dangers there. And in fact, I've warned a lot of women to just stay away from my sons, not because, no, I love my daughter in law and she's welcome here on my property. If she needs a home, we'll help. We'll either mine or we'll get another one. We have enough land, so it's not anything like that. It's entirely different, you know. But yeah, I always hoped my sons would be able to have a stable, healthy relationship. Yeah, there's a lot. And then um, when hard drugs and porn and different things in this society are normalized in front of young adult or adolescent boys with an abusive father, um, it's a hard thing. It really is. There's no other way I can put it. It's like, it's not that I don't think my sons can't overcome these things. I just believe that they have been satanically targeted harder than most people because of my nature, you know, which whoever knows me can attest to the fact that I love people, I don't hurt them, you know. That's why I went my first, well, maybe not my first job, no, was working in a nursery school, and then I worked in a bakery, and then I was a student teacher working with little people in an elementary school, and then I went into nursing. So, I mean, all my life I've been more like a caregiver, treatment center, counselor, minister. So, I mean, my calling is a helper, not a herder. So, and to me, if you're dressing and acting out of sorts as a woman, not only are you an embarrassment to other women, but you really put a name and shame on the rest of us out here in front of men. I'm just telling you like it is. That's the way it is, you know. So yeah, it was hard for me to give advice about something that I really don't know, you know. It's kind of like my stepdaughter used to ask me questions, and I told her, okay, first we're going to do it like this. whatever your mom says, whatever your dad says, this is what's going to go. But I'm going to give you my opinion, and that's all I can do, you know. So then I'd give her my opinion, and she'd be like, well, that's what my mom said, you know. Like, okay, that's a good thing, you know. Mm, didn't really make anything fancy for supper last night. I had cheese sandwiches, two of them, and some nuts, handful of nuts. That's about it. I was tempted to have, like, we have ice cream and candy bars and everything, but that's why I had two sandwiches, so I would be full and not want to eat anything that's horrible for me. But I was too tired to really cook anything, so yeah, not sure what I'm gonna do tonight yet. I don't know. There's plenty of stuff. I used to really, really worry about those types of things. Now I'm like, yeah, we got whatever it's in there. No, I mean too, and I cooked a lot in my life. Um, Even some of you know I worked in the, well, I started substituting for a cook in the school and would do janitorial work in the same school system. And then I went working in the kitchen at the high school in the same school system. And then I went over at a sheriff's boys ranch for the same school system and worked in the classrooms during the day where we would also have girls come in from the same school system that were emotionally disturbed children. So I have a background of working with desperately disturbed people. Even my friends come to me when they're upset. It may not be anything I can even fix, you know. Um, I can't say I have a really truly great friend in life, but I have people that respect me um, and know that I am their friend like that. And I know ones too that, like for instance, a woman that I've known since I was 15 years old, and I just like had to unfortunately watch her whole life almost fall apart, but she was able to pull herself up out of it. And she lost a child and to, I would say, drugs, but he ended up killing himself. And she found him by their picnic table. So it was really disheartening, and her marriage fell apart. And yeah, it was pretty horrible for the whole family. But I knew her and her brothers and her mom and dad, and, you know, all our lives just about. So, I mean, I have people like if I needed something, I could call her, and if she could, she would help me. So yes, that's a friend, but I'm talking about somebody that I call and talk to and confide in. I don't really do that, and I never really have. When I was a little kid, I found myself, if not afraid to talk to my parents, not wanting to because I didn't want to cause them any more problems. I was really a conscientious kid like that, you know, so I carried a lot of the weight of the world on my shoulders and kept things to myself, you know, till I got older and, you know, I lived so many places I can't really even remember them all, you know, so I made a lot of friends along the way, people that I miss and people that I'm sure miss me, that I hope they see my face out here someday and I'll be able to say hello again and reconnect maybe. That would be cool. That would be like a total miracle. If it ever does happen, you'll be the first ones to know. That would be really cool. A few that I can say gee, I do miss you. And I don't know where you went. So, some I know where they went, but um, like I lost my best friend to suicide when we were 15. So, I mean, I know where she went. But, yeah, anyway, that was so long ago. That was from a jealous stepmother. Seriously, this woman drove her stepdaughter off the edge of the earth with her lies. I watched it, you know. So, and this kid, her name was Michelle. We called her Mickey. She was so sweet. I mean, I'm a pretty sweet person, but this person was so sweet. There's just no way anybody could be cruel to her without being the depth of evil. You know, there's just no way. She would never have done or said anything to hurt anybody. And if that woman had taken her close to her and made a friend out of my friend instead of alienating her, she would have been able to do it, you know. Mostly with my friend above a lot of people that I know. So, yeah, I know what happened. But my friend took a bunch of pills and killed herself. So, yeah. So today I'm trying to stay in a little bit better spirits. I have a friend whose mother is having her brain operated on today, and hopefully there's a tumor that they're going to try and drain from what it sounds like if it isn't too calcified. If it's liquid enough, I think they'll be able to hopefully, and she had had a stroke, so hopefully something good will come out of all this. And he just lost his dog too. So it's like just one thing after another. Sometimes it's the lives we live, you know, some of us, you know. I don't know why that is, but it just seems to be that way sometimes. I have a theory. Um, I don't ever say things aren't going to get worse. We get better. Things don't change, but I know things are always pretty terrible, really. You know, maybe not on the surface of things, but in the world in general, it's really not a very nice place. Not really. Not if you go up to, like, just say a random stranger. They could pretend to be a nice person, but how long is that facade gonna stay, you know? I mean, it's not that I'm perfect because I wouldn't call it an explosive temper. I have a temperament that I used to play it like baseball. If you do something horrible one time, okay, first strike, second strike, third strike, you're out. Um, when I was a little kid, I could not control my anger very well. I did. I mean, it could have been dangerous for me if I didn't, but I've had times in my life where I wasn't always the nicest person in the world, so and I had to work through that. Some of you know I've told you I had like a couple years of my life that had never had any um, religious training background, upbringing, that type of thing. Um, I don't know where I would have been because, like, in between 15 and 17, I had thoughts. I told you if I had had like a Tommy gun, of walking downtown and just blowing everybody away. Doesn't mean I would have did it and I didn't do it, but I had those thoughts, you know. I had to work out of that. And in fact, I think it was meeting enough good people in my life that really helped me because I wasn't raised around good people. On the surface, they pretended to be, but behind closed doors, it was monstrous, you know. So, and that's why I know that people with supposed mental illnesses make decisions because how they can be out in public and how they are behind closed doors is two different things, you know, because they know what is illegal and what isn't, you know. Yeah, so anyway, I'm trying to be in a little bit better spirits today, um, even though I've had some really awful days lately, but it'll be okay. I mean, I'm always okay like that. Listening to some good podcasters, that always helps, you know. Um, like right now, I have on, I don't know if I'm going to finish listening to it, but it's Rabbi Simon, and I don't know if some of you know. No, I am not Jewish. I have a daughter in law that's Jewish, and I've studied the Torah and I've read the Talmud doctrines, the ones that I could get my hands on, and some of them that I wish I never would have read because that just really blew my mind. Like how people can do certain things in certain societies and think that it's not illegal towards children, that type of thing. So no, I am not Jewish, but I have a, I hold Rabbi Simon in high regard. I see something a little different in him than I do even, I don't care what religion anybody is. If they're a nice person and I like them, I just like him, and I do. I have respect for him. But I'm listening to what mystics say heaven actually looks like. Is on his YouTube is meaningful life. Meaningful life. Um, I do believe. So anyway, yeah. Like I say, he's a really nice person, and he's a gentle soul. He's a gentleman. You know. I've been around enough monsters. Gentlemen sometimes seem like maybe they're fake, you know. But I know they're not. I know there's really nice people out there. It's just we're few and far in between, you know. What I kind of base my who I like and who I don't like on is two things. How in touch are you with reality as far as I will never go along with like far left agenda driven nonsense. Okay? If you're over there, you can stay over there, and I'm not going to pretend that I like you. I'm not going to pacify society to fit in with any of this crap. Um, so beyond that, if somebody's a nice person, I can handle them. I mean, even if they have some not too nice traits, we all have those, but can it be overlooked? How bad is it? You know, can you deal with it? Do you love the person enough to want to work through it or whatever that type of, you know. But, but if I get a sense that somebody has a dark, dark spirit, there's no convincing me, none. If I get that instinct about somebody, I don't care what anybody else says because my instincts have saved my life, and I will never deny what I say, what God puts in my heart, what I know. Like if He's like, get out of there, this is dangerous, type of feeling within my soul, I'm out of there. I don't stick around to question why He told me to go, you know. Likewise, if He tells me this person needs a little extra more of your time, and I'll be about ready to give up, and He's like, no, no, you're not done yet. I was like, okay, I get it. So, yeah. But yeah, I do go on instincts quite a bit in my life, you know. How about you? How do you feel about that? That feeling, your gut feelings, how important are they to you, and can you trust them? You know, I can trust mine. Yeah, I made mistakes with them, but not often. And usually something that I might deem as somewhat as a mistake, I really knew, like they say, like way down deep inside, you actually know things that maybe you don't want to acknowledge on the surface. It's like, yeah, I think we all do that in life, with friends or relationships in general. Oh, excuse me a minute. This will be over in a minute. I told you if the pump came on yesterday, I would just make goofy faces till it's done. There's one. It'll be about a minute. I was watching my granddaughter has this little dog she calls Chaos. It's a little terrier mix. I think it's a pit bull chihuahua, and he's real pretty, pure white little thing, cuddled up on her bed, and she had been trying to get him to move so she had some room, and he's just all snugged in there. And yeah, I don't know. Little dogs, that's not so bad, but I had an Irish setter that tried to hog my bed, and it's like, no, I'm not really big with animals sleeping on my bed, because I give them their own spots, their own beds and chairs and whatever. Because they do carry different types of parasites that humans don't typically carry, like hookworm and tapeworm and roundworms and different things. And if people don't worm their animals, a lot of people really aren't even aware of that. I did mention it before to my granddaughter. I hope she knows that. You need to worm your dog twice a year. I'll have to remind her again. And I have outdoor kitties that I take care of. They're feral cats. I worm them too, and I put down diatomasticer so, so they don't get fleas. And the one that well, a couple of them now are getting kind of tame, but the one Yeti, I call him Yeti, he's pure white. Um, I have a flea collar on him, and he grooms even like his grandchildren. He's got little white ones just like him, and he hugs them and cleans them. He's just like the best grandpa. So it's pretty cool. But yeah. just about over. Doug was using the water. He just got a cup of coffee and he adds water to it, or he might have used the bathroom too. But we have a well with our own pump hooked up to the electric. And if things go down, we have several generators, and I have a hand pump, a cistern pump, so and a creek and a pond. So I mean, I'm set if anything goes down, which it has before, you know. But and we have a cook wood stove and another wood stove for heating. And so yeah, we're set where a lot of people won't be if anything bad happens. So, mm, I guess we were preppers before preppers were cool, you know? Like I spent years washing laundry by hand, you know, that type of thing, and hanging it out on the line. And yeah, some hard work, see? Yeah, that's why. Packing my own water, pounding my own well, you know. Me and this neighbor kid, um, let's see, I was 24 or 23 and a half, and he was 19, and he helped me pound my well by hand. We went down 23 feet. Three of them we started, dug it in, and then so it would be below the frost line, and then started pounding the casings down, you know. So, yeah, once you dig your own well and have to pack water to take care of your family or whatever, when you do those type of things, you really learn the value of it, you know. And I know full well. It's like they say, well, the government is going to do this or come in and do that. No, not in my neighborhood. Not even close. My neighbors and I, personally, and Doug, will put the fear of God in anybody. Here's a scenario. Do you know you can take wire or even your barbed wire fence and not just electrify it, but hook it up to propane where if it's even touched it would explode? I mean, there's things that if it was wartime out in this country, there's people that have minds like me and Doug, engineering type things. If they want a war, they do not want to pick on the United States. All they can pick on is that far left little lunatics that live in the inner cities, not out in the country, not with the people in rural areas. We're a little bit different out here. You know, should I know teenagers that look totally weak compared to me being 65 and a half. I know it for a fact. I've seen it. It's like, I do not know what you're eating. I don't know if you even get up and do anything through the day, but you really need to because this society is looking horrible. I think I heard there's something like 70% of people in the world are overweight or obese. Yikes. That's horrible. You couldn't even run from a bear if you had to, you know. I had one follow me home in the dark. I knew it was a bear because of the noises it was making. I was a little scared, and I did have a lighter, but I think it was a young one because had it been maybe like a mama with cubs or something, I might not have made it home down our dirt road. It's called Tunnel Road. The trees overhang it, and it's like totally pitch black. you know. That was spooky. Another time I was up on a mountain and I had this timber wolf follow me, just I think to make sure that I did not come back to his side of the mountain. But my Irish setter used to sit there and howl like a wolf at it. I knew if that thing ever got my dog, he'd kill him. Maybe. Of course, my dog was like a 90-pound, really wiry, ferocious, and trained as an attack dog, a guard dog. So he wasn't like your typical bird dog, although I did go hunting with him too. But he was like me, very different, you know. But that was spooky. Yeah, way up in the mountains, out in Montana. Okay, just a minute. just just shooting the breeze, really. Just passing some time and talking so I can entertain some friends that are going through some really tumultuous things, like having to get up and go to work every day. You know, it's like my granddaughter told me she's like got to get her schedule back on for school because she's been staying up way too late. Yeah, I'm just getting mine. I was up right after 7, and I usually like to be up right after 6 o'clock when the sun's rising. I love to see the sunrise. But with the way things are sometimes around here, um, if I get kept up till like 4 or whatever, it's really hard to get up. And then finally I thought, well, I'm not going to let my health suffer. I just have to sleep when I can get my sleep and call it good. And that's just the way, because I'm not on a schedule and I don't need to be, but I like to be. It helps regulate my mood. It keeps me from going into depression because if I'm tired, it's already giving me a strike in the day. You know, if you don't get the proper rest, if you don't eat right and take care of yourself. I'm a big uh, proponent of exercising. I don't care what age you are. I used to have a thing with my sons that'd be like, here's your choices. You can exercise with me, or you can sit on the couch and meditate, but you're not going to be doing whatever you want. This is the time to take care of yourself. So we called it quiet time, not a timeout or not. And then this would be, I usually would wait till, like in the summertime, I would wait till they had their breakfast and see what they wanted to do with their day, and if they were still like just hanging around the house and not wanting to do anything. Um, and they had a lot of tiring things happen to them in their life too. Like we were up on a mountain one time with wildcats around and had to pack our water, and the dad had left us there and went back into the city, supposedly looking for work. We didn't even have a home. We had blankets we made a tent out of. Long story short, my son's health suffered a lot when they were little like that. And eventually, I got sick of just taking care of my children by myself and decided if I'm doing it by myself, then I should just do it by myself and not even call myself married. I got a house of my own. I tried to give their dad even his own room. Do whatever you want. Just leave me alone and don't bring any strange women around my house or any other weirdos. Keep your weirdos away from me and we'll be good. But that didn't work like that. So I eventually just, that's enough of you. I'm done with you. And that's that. Anyway. And still, even though my sons and I have conflicts because of their loose ways that I just cannot um, condone, they still have respect for me in a weird way. They won't deny that. They don't like it, but they can't deny it, you know. So, because that's my integrity. That's something they saw all their life. The best they could do is try and lie about me. That's the truth. My daughter-in-law found that out, unfortunately. So, because, yes, they did grow up to be like their dad. And he was abused also. And he abused his children in the same manner, you know. And it's just like a generational thing. I thought I could actually, I thought I could love the cruelty out of somebody, but sometimes that's just not possible. No amount of love sometimes can take the pain out of another person, or put happy somewhere where it just isn't, you know. So I'm really not a big one, although I've worked in the mental health field, I'm not a big one on calling everything mentally ill or mentally unstable. Not all emotional care is connected to somebody that's psychotic. Um, this is my observation. I think a lot of people um, don't even realize what's happening to them. It's like with my adopted mother, I knew and I could see the abuse that she had been through, but did she recognize it? I don't think she did. I don't think she still understands what happened to her. And it could be like head injuries, and she got hit by a car when she was 4. In her frontal lobe, the bumper hit her. Her mom and other siblings were up. I think they were like walking home from the store or something, and there was like 5 of them and a set of twins, and had been 6. One died, and she's lucky she didn't die. But the frontal lobe damage, and I've noticed that with psychotic people will hit their children in their heads. I think it's like Satan, just smack that little bastard and he'll be as stupid as you. And you know what? It works. And I really think that that's what happened to my adopted mom. Not just her conditioning from her mother and her grandmother, who I met when I was very little. We lived with them for a while my adopted dad was building a house. But these women, they were, jeez, they dressed like the 1800s, like a button up, buttons down like to there with ruffles and like just stodgy and cold and that's like no emotion there. It was like the witches, just the weirdest shit I still can ever remember seeing in my whole life. But, yeah, strange. So she was really raised around some very strange stuff, and it was masonically inclined, you know. through the English and the French and the Spanish bloodline that they had, which are in the Masons consider them all Caucasian, the same with the Jewish heritage. Um, so yeah, and the Swedes and the Finns and the Nordics, they're all the Chinese. You would not believe how close they're related the Chinese and the Norwegians are. Look into that. It's the truth. A lot of people don't know that, but it is true. Let's see. I'll probably think of something else here in a little bit. Give you a little more of my time. One more cigarette with you, I think. Anyway. Oh, I was watching Robin's Hood this morning. He had made a video last night and then uploaded it. And he was coming from where his mother was in the hospital when I went to Philadelphia. I think it was that same highway coming in from the south of Philadelphia. I remember, or it could have been somewhere else, but it sure looked like the same place. I don't know. But I do know, like south of there, there's a place called Meadowlands. That's before you start getting into like Pittsburgh, I think. Um, but anyway, it's been a while ago, so my memory escapes me sometimes. But yeah, it looked familiar. I sure hope your mom's gonna be okay, Robin. When you first met me, it's going on 6 years now, but I was only a few years past having my stroke that was induced by gas poisoning, wrong fittings put on in my house, and the detector not detecting it. So, yeah, my whole side of my face fell. I could not talk. I could not walk. And even like some of you know, I had pulled my spinal cord when I was 17 and had to struggle to walk. I pulled it an inch and a half. They said, "You'll never walk again in a car accident." Um, well, I did, through strength, determination, and God, the willpower. But I had to pull myself on the floor to even go to the bathroom, and it was so painful and so humiliating. I could not live like that. I mean, I would have had to, but I started standing up on the chair. I told you I was like shaky, and it hurt. It hurt so bad. I can barely describe it. I've had worse pains, but at that point in my life, and then I was hospitalized after that from the swine flu shot they gave me. I almost died. I lost like 30 pounds I couldn't afford to lose. I was like a flippin' weak noodle. And I recovered from valley fever and broken bones and having a child rip out of me. And I mean, I could go on and on and on. Head injuries. I mean, you wouldn't even believe it. So when I say like miracles happen, they really do, you know. What I'm saying is I do believe that your mom might be able to recover, and hopefully if I can get in her head and try and show her that you can actually literally, even if you have to use your fingers to form words, exercise your mouth, practice smiling. One of the biggest things for me was to look in the mirror and to get both sides of my face with just muscles coordinating, you know. sometimes I fall a little bit still, you know. It's the essence of it is still there, but um, I was all together, all in there, and was able to bring myself back. So miracles happen. Yeah, just keep praying, and I'll keep my good thoughts trying to go towards her, and maybe we can pull her out of this and give her some good senior years that she deserves. So hopefully she deserves some, you know, and hopefully I can help with my thoughts and my prayers. But yeah, it is a big thing if you can even get her to smile, even using a straw. But and it's like with my mother-in-law, she had lost her ability to speak, and write. I was teaching her how to write, and my brother-in-law did not want anything to do with that because he wanted power of attorney. I thought he'd be really happy and proud. I showed him, your mom's making her signature almost again, And I would put the pen in her hand, and I would, like kind of like a child, but congratulate her when she's doing good. Let's try this again. You almost got to hear, we'll try it again tomorrow, and just keep working with little increments of different things. If she can't write, try helping her use the straw. Just little things, one little thing at a time, maybe. You know, so even walking, baby steps. Long story short, on my mother-in-law's, I wanted her to come up here so I could take care of her, but the oldest son got her in the house, and she ended up falling out of the bed and injuring herself several times, and like hanging on the side of the bed with nobody to help her, and she eventually died right there. Yeah, that's sick, but it's the truth. We think it was all about money, but we can't prove it. There was things that were supposed to go to Doug and never did, and like even his teddy bear that freaking killed him. They kept his teddy bear. They had a garage sale and sold everything before he could even know what was happening, and just things from his childhood. And he was one that spent a lot of time in his room alone. He built model cars and did a lot of reading, and I mean, like me, we had in common. We were those weirdos that would read encyclopedias out of pure boredom. We didn't have the internet. So whatever we could get our hands on to entertain ourselves when we were little kids was a lot different than what kids have today. We had to look things up, and if I didn't have a book available, I could like call the library or go and order a book in or whatever it took. Walking or getting on a bus, going different places to find the material that I needed to do like research or whatever that was. It's a whole lot different nowadays. God, imagine how smart I'd be if I had had the internet when I was a kid. Or maybe I'd just be really flipping stupid. I don't know. God knows. I don't know. That's a good question. You know, I love the internet. A lot of people are like, oh, this and that. It's like, this is freaking incredible, you know? like the Alexandria Library at our fingertips. Maybe not exactly, but you know, you know what I mean. Just about anything you want to know, you can find out. Yeah, some things are hidden, but that's what detective work does. You know, you dig it out, find the truth. It's like these people that tell untruths on here that are in the scriptures or biblically, or especially with language, and that just gets me because I'm quite the linguist. I will attack them out and out with their bullshit if that's what I have to do. I've been known to do that. I will. Yes, I will. If I hear something that's not righteous, I'm going to let you know about it. Do I stand on self righteousness? Yeah, yes, I actually do. Believe it or not. And if you knew me, you'd say the same thing about me, just like everybody else does, because they don't have a choice. You can't deny what's real, you know. You can try, you can try. That's all you can do. Because I am the most loyal, honest person on this planet that you'll ever meet. That's why. And that really is what being a good parent is all about. And what I instilled in my sons, they'll be able to fall back on that when everything else fails. And I believe that with all my heart. I really do. So no matter what, no matter who tried to bring them down, whether it was out of jealousy or just plain hatred for me or whatever the case may be, I'm sure they'll fall back on their foundation one of these days. Hope I live to see it. But that's how somebody nice can have a child that isn't so nice, just like that. It happens. It's just like my grandmother never would have deserved. I mean, she loved her daughter, my mother, but she deserved a whole lot more. A whole lot more. Oh, I'm convinced our ancestors play a huge part on who we are, you know, whether our parents were able to teach us or not. I think there's things inside of us that our ancestors put there, grandparents, great grandparents, that we can gather within ourselves just out of our molecules, you know, because that would explain how to, just like the old thing where they said for a father that had two sons and the father was an alcoholic, and then they asked the one son, well, why aren't you an alcoholic? Well, because I watched my father. And they asked the other son, well, why are you an alcoholic? Well, because I watched my father, you know. So that's that's where I'm at like that. I didn't know my mother. I did not know my grandmother until I was 34 and found out that that's who I was closest to in my personality. Not anybody that raised me or anybody I knew, you know. It's like my dad owning an insurance company and my business sense and my strive to go to clerical school and different things that I've done, working for real estate. Uh, now I can't remember what I was going to say on that. But anyway, uh, my strive as a business person and becoming a licensed contractor, I mean, I maybe my drive for business came from him because kind of might have from my grandmother and my mom had their own business as far as they were seamstress, um, doing like alterations and um, things on sewing for a living, had their own business. But so does my oldest sister. She has a online business called Scrubs for uh, custom made surgical scrubs for people. So, yeah. So yeah, I guess that part does kind of run on both sides of my family. And being a minister, I had a great grandfather who worked with the Ojibwe people, and our bloods got intertwined, and that was from Welsh and Danish and German, and that's where the Algonquin bloodline came in for the Native American, and let's see what else was he. There's something else in there too that I'm missing from him. I don't know. I have so many bloodlines in me. I just can't really even Dutch. Um, oh, oh, so many of them. French, lots, lots. I could go on and on. There's probably none of you that I'm not related to. In fact, I know there isn't. I can trace everybody back through all of my families. And like I like to joke that people will say, well, they're pure blood this or that. Well, at least I know none of my family members slept with any of their family members. At least not they didn't produce anything out of that. So I'm thankful, you know. And don't take any offense. I was lied to when I was growing up. I was told I was full-blooded German, and being that I'm tall and strong looking, and I had really light hair when I was a kid, um, so it just, I appeared to be what they said I was until I found out that that wasn't the truth at all. It was part true, but not at all entirely true, you know. So anyway, I used to say I was Hitler's granddaughter when people would be bothering me, just sort of scare them, you know. I think it worked. If not, at least I thought it was kind of a funny joke. Wouldn't that be wild if I found out that I actually had been? Oh, no. I actually found out that I was related to the McDonald's through my dad's bloodline. His mother was a McDonald, and then he also has had German, Czechoslovakian, and let's see what else. Irish, Scotch Irish, um, Black Irish, which is mixed with the Spanish, and I have from my mom's Polynesian and two types of Native Americans and English, and like I said, from my great grandfather. And my grandmother was English, and I think she was English, Irish, and German. So yeah, just a bunch of different ones from different people. So, well, that's probably about it for today. Um, I just really wanted to make it really very, very clear. If you ever see me acting like a slut or thinking that I'm out here looking for any kind of relationship, just shoot me. The only thing I want is good friends with God in their heart. I hope you qualify. You know, that's what I'm all about. You know, making healthy relationships in this world and being a good woman. That's my thing. So hope you recognize that. If not, God be with you. uh, and if so, God be with you anyway. I love you all. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace, y'all. I love you.